Thanks to some quick thinking people, his life was saved. Today, we've learned the 16-year-old boy is in fair condition. Wednesday night, police say he was trying to climb on board a slow-moving train near Washougal. His leg got caught and he was pulled down. The train cut off his leg between his knee and ankle. People at a nearby baseball game rushed over to help, including a surgeon as well as a man who made a tourniquet using his own belt. The first police officer on scene tells us the teamwork saved that teen's life.
These guys were 100% on it. They did everything correctly, and they stopped majority of the bleeding before I even got there. My tourniquet was, I think, kind of just the last step.
The teen was taken to the hospital and is okay. However, his leg could not be reattached, although Officer Hanley says it could have been much worse.
Homeowners in Salem have some words of warning for anyone looking for a contractor. Do your homework. Raquel White says that she found a contracting company online and says she put a $2,300 deposit down after someone gave her a quote in September. But as the weeks went on, no work was getting done. In February, White says she threatened to file a complaint with the Construction Contractors Bureau. She says the company then sent her a photo of the work that had been done off-site, and it was nothing like she had expected.
Looking at it, it's not going to fit through doorways. It won't fit through hallways, and it won't fit through the stairs. I expected more from a construction company. I was hoping for more.
Coming up on the 10 o'clock news, why she never got her money back or her money's worth, and the red flags she missed along the way.
Still ahead, Timbers in 30 is coming up at 6:30, and we're going to break down that crucial moment that was really contributing to the victory in the Timbers' 100th rivalry match with Seattle.
And coming up new at 6, the balancing act between federal law and legal marijuana in Oregon. Tonight, the U.S. Attorney for Oregon becomes the first to reveal a strategy.
You're watching the 6 o'clock news. First, live, local.
Now at 6, the nation is struck with an all too familiar grief, the shock and horror of a mass school shooting. Tonight, authorities in Texas are unraveling a deadly plot that involved guns and explosives.
As the situation in Texas unfolded, there was a gun scare at a local school as well. Parents are relieved no one was hurt as we learn why a student was taken into custody and what really happened today, right now on the 6 o'clock news.
First, live, local. The 6 o'clock news starts now on Fox 12 Oregon.
Good evening, I'm Nora Hart.
And I'm Pete Ferryman. Welcome to the 6 o'clock news. First at 6, a heartbreaking scene. 9 students and 1 teacher dead, another 10 hurt in Santa Fe, Texas, southeast of Houston. Tonight, a teenager is in custody along with a possible accomplice. U.S. Senator John Cornyn says the 17-year-old suspect who is in custody used a semi-automatic pistol and a sawed-off shotgun. He also had a variety of homemade explosives in his car and at the school.
Tonight, we know the suspect is currently being held in solitary confinement. He just made his first court appearance and didn't say much. Prosecutors want to try him as an adult so he could face the death penalty. Many questions remain about who he is and why he chose to open fire as the community is left in shock.
I was scared for my life. Nobody should go through this. Nobody should be able to feel that in school.
Officials say that 9 students and 1 teacher are dead after 17-year-old Dimitrios Pagorchis allegedly walked into an art class at Santa Fe High School in Harris County, Texas, and opened fire.
Several more shots. He's actually shooting. He's in the art room. We got shots fired right now, guys. We need all of you.
Witnesses describe running from the school when they heard gunshots.
A teacher was telling us to go, 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 and then, it's like instinct. You're scared, you're traumatized, so you're running as fast as you can.
Officials say explosive devices were also found at the school and in surrounding areas, and they warn locals to be on the lookout for any other suspicious devices.
One was a CO2 device. Another was a Molotov cocktail. And there are various other types of explosive devices that have been identified both in a home as well as in a vehicle.
President Trump saying the federal government will be involved.
My administration is determined to do everything in our power to protect our students, secure our schools, and to keep weapons out of the hands of those who pose a threat to themselves and to others.
Meantime, we are learning some new information about the accused shooter. CNN was able to confirm before Facebook removed his account that Pagorchis says he started attending the high school 3 years ago. He posted pictures of himself showing what appears to be a normal high school student. But then on April 30th, less than a month ago, he also posted this, a custom black T-shirt that says, "Born to Kill." Indications are the shooter may have been wearing that T-shirt when he went to the school this morning. Another post shows a black duster jacket with Nazi, communist, fascist, and religious symbols. On his Facebook page, he showed some interest in joining the U.S. Marine Corps. He was mentioned as a standout player on the school's JV football team a few years back, but so far, no explanation for why he would have done this. Investigators say another student, an 18-year-old possible accomplice who was not a shooter, is also in custody tonight. We are still waiting to learn more about the victims in this tragedy. We'll, of course, keep you posted as information comes in.
A local school had a scare this morning. No one was hurt, but a report of a student with a gun at Lebanon High School put all schools in the area on lockdown. Now we're learning some new information. Fox 12's Haley Rush is live at the high school now. Haley?
We just learned 3 kids are in custody tonight after having a single gun at school and passing it around among themselves. We also learned that gun is stolen. Now it's calm here now, but earlier concerned parents rushed over and lined up at the doors to pick up their kids and take them home. Parents rushed to Lebanon High School this morning, lining up outside the school.
Just was really frightened and thinking, oh no.
The reason? Reports of a student with a gun.
It was scary at first because I was watching the news on the Texas shooting, and then I got a text from her saying, "Mom, please pray, we have a shooter."
While there wasn't a shooter, we're told the school went into lockdown just before 10 this morning after police say a student reported seeing another student with a handgun. First responders rushed to the high school, and other schools in the area were placed on lockdown too.
Just all the windows shut, doors locked, lights off.
Students say the lockdown lasted about 2 hours.
Scary day. It's nerve-wracking, definitely. I think it was a pretty traumatizing feeling for everybody.
We are now exiting lockdown and initiating lockout.
The lockdown was lifted after police say they located the suspect outside of the school. As police investigated, they say 3 kids actually had a single gun and passed it among themselves in school. It's believed the handgun was stolen and it was located at a home inside the city unloaded. All 3 kids were taken into custody. Throughout the afternoon, parents continue to pick up their kids.
Everyone's shaking and scared.
Scared, but thankful everyone is okay.
Very emotional day. I'm just glad that I've got both my babies back with me, and definitely gonna hug them a lot this weekend.
All 3 students are facing a list of charges, including unlawful possession of a firearm and theft in the first degree. Their names are not being released. Reporting live in Lebanon, Haley Rush, Fox 12 Oregon.
Haley, thank you. We want to get to some breaking news out of Milwaukee tonight. Police say they are in a standoff with a man who made threats to hurt himself, other people, and law enforcement. Officers are on the scene at the Crystal Lake Apartments at Southeast 26th and Harrison. These are live pictures right now from Air 12. Police are not allowing anyone into that complex right now, and they want people who live there to stay inside their apartments until the situation is resolved.
The SWAT team on our patio said, "Get down in the corner bedroom because bullets can penetrate through a couple walls." I said, "Oh, that's comforting thought." I'm like, just get us out of here.
Police say there is no threat to the public at this point. We invite you to stay with Fox 12 and KPTV.com for updates on this developing situation.
Gresham police shot and killed a man early this morning after they say he threatened officers with a weapon.
Fox 12's Marcia Martinez joins us live in studio now with the latest on the investigation. Marcia.
Well, investigators were on scene for hours this morning at Southwest Pleasant View Drive and Highland in Gresham. Gresham police say this all started with a call about a suspicious car. They tell us just after midnight they got that call about that suspicious car at Southwest 190th and Butler, just 1 mile from where the shooting occurred. Gresham officers responded and found a dark-colored SUV. Say it then took off. They didn't chase it. Later, they received word the SUV crashed on Southwest Pleasant View Drive. As police approached the wreck, they say the driver threatened them with a weapon, and that's when 2 Gresham officers opened fire, killing the driver. Investigators have not released what kind of weapon the suspect had on him or his name. Neighboring streets were closed for more than 12 hours while detectives processed evidence, but those roads have since been reopened. Right now, investigators are also looking to speak to anyone who may have witnessed the shooting and what led up to it as part of their investigation. Live in studio, Marcia Martinez, Fox 12 Oregon.
Marcia, thank you. Some big news today in the Columbia River Gorge. Several more trails are back open after last summer's massive Eagle Creek fire. The devastating fire burned more than 49,000 acres and forced the closure of dozens of popular hiking trails. Fox 12's John Hendricks reports from Cascade Locks for us tonight.
Those who headed out to the Starvation Creek today say that they felt pretty lucky, like they had found a hidden gem. Several trails in that area reopened months after that fire came roaring through. Like pieces to a puzzle.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
The Columbia River Gorge is slowly, bit by bit, returning to how it once was before the Eagle Creek fire.
I guess I'm pretty lucky that I showed up and it was all open.
Friday morning, several trails on the east end of the burn scar reopened.
The hike was pretty easy today.
Matt Coburn was one of many out enjoying the area around Starvation Creek where the fire had done some damage.
It's really too bad that it affected so much of something that's so close and that is really near and dear to our hearts.
Thank you.
Ellen Harris and her friends who were visiting from all over the world also stopped here today.
We figured this would be, kind of a hidden gem that not everybody knows to come to yet.
They were tipped off at Vista House that Starvation Creek was the place to be.
She grabbed us before we left and said, oh, there's a place you need to come to. It just opened this morning, Starvation Creek, and there's 3 waterfalls that you need to take a look at. Everything is so beautiful.
The Forest Service says the trailhead opening gives access to Starvation Ridge and Mount Defiance trails. Warning signs have been posted for hikers to be on the lookout for hazards.
We're really excited to go take a hike.
Back at the trailhead, there is quite a bit of excitement as all the pieces come together. Soon this picture-perfect part of Oregon will be whole once again.
We're really happy to be back here with, enjoying what is obviously glorious.
There are several other smaller trails headed to the lakes in the Mount Hood National Forest that also reopened on Friday. For a full list, head on over to KPTV.com. Reporting from Cascade Locks, John Hendricks, Fox 12 Oregon.
John, thanks. The Hood River judge is deciding how much money the teen who started the fire must pay. The decision is expected to be made within a week. The state of Oregon submitted 11 separate claims for restitution, totaling more than $36 million. His attorney agreed that he should have to pay back some of the money, but called the state's request, quote, absurd. The teen is serving 5 years probation and has to do more than 1,900 hours in community service.
Still ahead tonight, a passenger jet crashes in Cuba, leaving only a few survivors. What witnesses on the ground saw right before the crash.
Also ahead, marijuana may be legal in Oregon, but the feds have a different policy. For the first time, a federal prosecutor is revealing the pot problems he wants to address right here in Oregon.
And here's a view from space, a really nice high-resolution view of all the clouds that we had on the west side of the Cascades. We had a thick marine layer. There it goes. Finally seeing some sun breaks here in the Willamette Valley. As we head through tomorrow, I think we'll get to the sunshine a little quicker. We'll talk about it coming up.
You're watching the 6 o'clock news. First, live, local.
A Cuban-operated plane crashed just after takeoff this morning. It's believed that more than 100 people died. The Boeing 737 went down a short distance from the end of the runway at the International Airport in Havana. It was meant to be a short hopper flight to an eastern Cuban city, but shortly after takeoff, witnesses say the jet veered sharply to the left and then crashed. Officials say the plane was engulfed in flames with at least 110 people on board. Cuban media is now reporting there are just 3 survivors who are all in critical condition. The cause of the crash is still under investigation.
The Big Island of Hawaii remains on red alert tonight, which means people there should be prepared for major volcanic eruption activity. New video shows fountains of lava bursting from the ground in Hawaii. There are now 22 fissures on the Big Island near the Kilauea volcano. Yesterday, an explosion shot ash and debris 30,000 feet into the air. But the area is still on red alert, and an even bigger blast could be in store. And it's not just lava causing concern. State officials are handing out nearly 20,000 masks to residents there because of the dangerous chemicals that are being released into the air.
Today marks 38 years to the day since Mount St. Helens erupted. 57 people were killed and damage from the blast cost $1.1 billion. Hot ash led to forest fires and snow melt from the top of the mountain, and that led to flooding. Since then, there have been some small steam and ash explosions and underground earthquakes. The volcano is the most active in the Cascade Range.
All right, let's turn now to Brian McMillan. And Brian, I know you've got a short little Mount St. Helens story.
Yeah, I went hiking there in 2006. It was in August. It was right after they opened the trail again, because they closed it when it was having mini eruptions. And I was up there looking over the rim, and there was an earthquake. We freaked out, ran down. You know, we ran down the mountain like that was going to save us from an eruption, and then realized that, hey, there's nothing we can do. We may as well take pictures, right? So we went up there and took a bunch of pictures. It was something else.
Wow.
I'll never forget it. Yeah.
No kidding.
I wish I would have brought the pictures today. That would have been a good idea.
Next year on the anniversary.
There you go. But yeah, back in 1980, 57 people were killed, and that blew off like 1,300 feet of the mountain. Not only that, it shot volcanic ash up about 80,000 feet up in the atmosphere. Several different states here around the country got some of our ash from Mount St. Helens. Pretty wild stuff. Huge news story at the time. Take a look at this photo from Mike Heinrich. This was taken back in 2005. This is around that time that I was talking about, when it was seeing some mini eruptions and kind of steaming, and it did that for really quite some time. It shut down the hiking trails up to the rim there for a while. It finally reopened there in the summer of 2006. All right, this is our mountain, our volcano. It's covered up with some clouds. It's off in the distance there, though, trust me. 55 degrees is our temp right now at Government Camp. And back down here in the lowlands along the Willamette River, we're at 68 degrees in Portland. Elsewhere, east of the Cascades, you've been much warmer today. You've been seeing more sunshine over there. Temperatures are in the 70s. All right, let's get to your forecast. Out along the coastline, temperatures are going to be looking like another cool day here. 59 out in Lincoln City, 59 in Newport, 63 up in Tillamook. That'll be the warm spot along the coastline. Here inland, highs will be in the mid-70s, so a little bit warmer, about 5 degrees warmer than our high temperatures today. Once again, morning clouds, afternoon sun breaks. Those clouds could linger for quite some time tomorrow, kind of like they did today. Partly cloudy with a shower off to the east. Other than that, we'll be looking mainly dry. We do have a chance of some thunderstorms on the east side of the Cascades and up in the mountains tomorrow. Government Camp will be close to 60, so another warm day up there. Eastern Oregon, you have the best chance of seeing a thunderstorm, especially up in the northeast part of the state. Baker City and LeGrand in the 70s. We'll be close to that 70-degree mark and very comfortable in Central Oregon tomorrow. So here's your forecast for tomorrow. Starting off cloudy, ending the day sunny. If you have plans, I think you're going to be mainly dry. If you're heading out early in the morning, though, you could run into a little bit of drizzle to start the day, kind of like what we've seen here the past couple of days. And your 7-day forecast gets us into the 80s here for Tuesday and Wednesday. You can see once we get through Sunday, We're going to be looking at high pressure taking over. That's going to give us that sunshine a lot sooner on, and you can see the temperatures reflect that as well. So mid-80s for Tuesday and Wednesday. We get a little bit cooler there on Thursday with some more morning clouds, but Friday we bounce right back, and we're back into the mid-80s, guys.
All right. Brian, thank you very much. New at 6, federal prosecutors are taking aim at the marijuana surplus in Oregon. In a memo released today, the U.S. Attorney for Oregon says he will prioritize enforcement of marijuana overproduction and interstate trafficking. Billy Williams is the first U.S. attorney to detail his strategy for enforcing federal drug laws in a state where marijuana is legal. Williams also says his office will focus on underage marijuana use and cases that involve violent crime, organized crime, and environmental damage.
Tomorrow marks 1 year since Fox 12's Most Wanted killed a man outside a Beaverton strip club, and tonight his mother is pleading for justice. Ramon Harris was shot to death outside the Expos Club on Southwest Canyon Road. The shooting caused a chaotic scene at the packed club, and deputies say potential witnesses left before police arrived. We spoke with the victim's mother today, who says Harris left behind a 7-year-old son. She's hopeful someone with information will come forward.
Then they need to come forward and be done with this. I need peace. His son needs peace. His family needs peace. There was too many people there. So that's what I'm praying for.
Crime Stoppers is offering a reward of up to $2,500 for information in this case, and you can remain anonymous.
Coming up, a controversial figure making national headlines is here in Oregon.
Adult film star Stormy Daniels is in Salem tonight. We'll tell you how her arrival is sparking some debate.
Also, a reminder that you can add Fox 12 to your Amazon Alexa flash briefing. Just search for Fox 12 in your Echo's flash briefing settings and get local news updates throughout the day. For all the details, visit kptv.com/Alexa.
You're watching the 6 o'clock news. First, live, local.
The woman in the national spotlight for an alleged affair with President Trump is now in Oregon. Stormy Daniels is set to perform for the second night, this time in Salem.
Fox 12's Sarah Hurwitz is live in Salem, where Stormy Daniels is expected to perform at Stars Cabaret tonight. Sarah?
Well, good evening, Nora and Pete. Stormy Daniels is expected to arrive sometime after 9:30 tonight. The general manager does tell me that she is expected to perform 2 shows, and they are just totally booked. They have double staffing. They're expecting about 200 people, nearing capacity. And while Daniels has been in the spotlight for a while, she gained attention most recently for her alleged sexual encounter with President Donald Trump in 2006. She says she was threatened to keep silent in 2011, and her lawsuit claims that she was paid $130,000 to keep silent. And last night, more than 100 people showed up in Bend in her tour to see Daniels perform at the Stars Cabaret there. She did have to stop her show, though, after Bend police tell us that someone threw a wallet at her face, but she did not press charges. We did speak with the general manager today, who says that they've never had anything like this on such a national level.
No, this is a whole new world. I actually, Stormy was here about 8 years ago. I worked with her then, but at a much different level, media-wise, of what we have going on today. We have some people that are coming in because they are supporting her on a political level, and we have some people that are coming out that are against her at a political level. So.
And again, Daniels is expected to arrive sometime after 9:30 tonight. We'll be working to talk to folks who show up here tonight on both sides, and we'll have continuing coverage at 10 o'clock. Live here in Salem, Sarah Hurwitz, Fox 12 Oregon.
Thank you. Well, we're just hours away from the royal wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. More than 100,000 people are expected in Windsor, England for Saturday's nuptials. One of the last remaining wedding questions now has been answered. Markle will walk herself down most of the aisle. It's an unprecedented move for a royal bride in the UK, and one Meghan Markle decided for herself. Prince Charles will join her partway down the aisle, stepping in for Markle's father, who cannot make it due to health problems. Per tradition, the bride and groom are spending the night in separate hotels just a few miles apart from one another. You can watch every minute of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding right here on Fox 12. You have to get up early, though. The coverage starts at 3:30 tomorrow morning.
Well, you got to see it tonight. A Good Samaritan rescued a puppy that was wandering alone on the side of an Illinois road, but there was just one problem. It wasn't a puppy. You can see how the man got confused. She looks like a puppy, but this is actually a coyote. The man brought her to a police department, but officers realized something wasn't right. Wildlife officials came and quickly identified her as a young coyote. They took her to a rehab facility to be with other coyotes her size.
Still cute, though.
Very cute at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything kind of is cute at that age for the most part. Let's talk about your 7-day forecast here. Clouds to sunshine, very similar to our pattern the past couple of days here for your weekend. Could see some morning drizzle. Beyond that, we get to the hot stuff. We're back into the 80s there for a few days next week.
Oh, back to the hot stuff.
Yep.
We'll take it. All right.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget Timbers in 30 is up next.
Make it a great night.